Okay, this video is going to be if you want to sketch the tutorial number 2 exercise yourself. So we're going to do the geometry, just kind of looking. They give us a starting point up here, but for convenience, I think I just want to start with the circles, and we'll build out from there. So. Let's see, so that goes tangent to the end. We're going to use that for the obround, for the slot. And then we have the other two circles at about 4 inches. So let's start with our circles. So we're into wireframe, center point circle. And the radius, we're given a 0.75, and that one will be at the center. And we're going to accept, and then go to the next operation, and then a radius of 1.125. Okay, and then we'll accept, and kind of zoom out and over. The 2 on the end, then we have one that's a diameter of 0.75, and for this one the X will be 4 and 0 in Y, 4 inches in X, 0 in Y, and then we have a radius of 0.625. And its center point, well, same as the circle that we just created. So we can go that way. And then we'll go ahead and accept. And get out of the operation. Alright, so let's see, we need a line at 1 inch. So let's just generate between the points, and then I'll just transform it. We're just going to get some geometry to start with. Alright, so I'm going to translate, and this is going to be a move, and instances 1, and the delta will be y of 0.5, and we'll go ahead and accept it. Alright, so as I complete this this geometry, then we'll either mirror all at once. Well, there's only another line, so I might as well go ahead and mirror it. Alright, so selecting the entity and the selection. That's coming across the x-axis, no shift. Alright, so we have our selection, we have the result in magenta. And then we have the two objects, so I'm going to right click and then clear colors. Alright. So we need another line, and we have a freeform tangent. And I could give it a length. Let's see what it looks like at 30 degrees. And the first endpoint will be tangent. And with that 30 degree, then we're just looking to cross. Okay. So if I was to do that again, because 0 is always to the right, 90, 180, 270, I would have to be over here at 360 minus 30. So 330. Or we could just mirror it. Alright, so we have the tangency, we have the intersection, and that gives me that location. Alright, so when we start our trim and extends, then we'll clean all of this up. Alright, and then a line. Let's give it a line horizontal, length of 1.125. Alright, and then, oh, I did not lock it, so 1.125. I'll lock its position. Alright, so it gives me the first, and then the second. And there again, could have mirrored it, but I think it's probably about as easy once you're set up. Oh, and then I shouldn't have got out of it. So we need to unlock for the 1.125, and we will connect the dots. Alright, so once you have your geometry set up, the hardest part of this drawing is interpreting the slot as it goes through. So before we trim, we want to make sure to get that obround in place. And we're going to go rectangular shapes. In this case, I want it to be located from quadrant on the circle. So the origin will be at that end. We're setting an obround. The width is 0.5. The height then is 1.75, and the radiuses are 0.25. So we may have to rotate that. Alright, so let's try again. 1.75 and 0.5. Alright, so you can see the end result. And then knowing that we're pretty close, we should be seeing it. And I think we ran into this on the last time we did the obround, is I need to add the radius for the ends. So this 1.75 plus 0.25 plus 0.25 gives me 2.25. Okay, that looks more like the result I was expecting. And then we can go ahead and accept it. Alright, so we're ready to trim out our geometry. Alright, so divide and delete. Okay, and then not quite ready to do that. So let's Control Z. Let's see, the trim extend. If we go to one entity and then pick the object to extend to, be able to get that extension. And then I'll just switch back to divide, delete, and we'll clean out the rest. Alright, so for our filleting entities, we're going to go with a radius of 0.25. Select and select. Alright. That gives us our geometry. Now, as far as positioning it and setting up for stock, if we want to use the levels, we can set the stock on a separate level. Normally, we would move to origin, but if we translate, when we're looking at the stock that we're given, we're actually in 1/8 of an inch and down 1/8 of an inch for clearance. So I want to include that into our geometry. And so not so much a delta, we need from location. Well, in that case we might as well send it to the origin. Oh, had everything. Alright, so move to origin. And then the point to translate from. Alright, so once I get to the origin, then we can translate. and we're moving a delta of 0.125 in X and minus 0.125 in Y. Set up. Alright, so on our levels then, this can be, number one, my object, or part, or whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to add 10 to be the stock. And our stock will be back in the wireframe. And if we were going to pick a different color for the stock, we could go ahead and set the wireframe color. Alright, so that's a pick. Yeah, we'll go with something a little lighter. And then into rectangle. And the width of the rectangle is 6 inches. And the height of the rectangle is 2.5. Alright, and then we pick the origin. Well, it doesn't quite go the right way, so we need to pick a minus 2.5. And we'll set the geometry. Alright, so when I clear the colors, I have the cyan and then I have the stock. So that's going to help me a little bit when I go to generate the toolpaths. Alright, so we're ready to proceed from here.